Miyabi is the first Void Hunter character added to the game, with a unique element, the Frost attribute. As an anomaly character, she has a high anomaly build-up rate. She's relatively easy to build, and her additional ability requires either a support character or a character from the same faction. So you won't need to invest too much in building her team. Her gameplay will mostly revolve around her Fallen Frost points, which in battle, you can see it under her picture. She deals extremely high damage, even with low investment. And most importantly, not only is she fun, her animations are really cool. Let's start off with understanding her unique element. Miyabi's element, Frost, is practically a brand new element. The damage calculation counts as ice damage, meaning it counts her ice damage bonus and the enemy's ice resistance. But after triggering a Frost anomaly, you can use any other elements, including ice, to trigger an anomaly disorder, meaning you can bring ice characters and still be able to trigger anomaly disorder. Next up, Miyabi starts off with 3 points of Fallen Frost when she enters battle. She gains 2 points when using her X special attack, and 3 points when using her ultimate. She also gains a point when Frostburn Break is triggered, and her additional passive allows her to gain 2 Fallen Frost points whenever an ally trigger an anomaly disorder. Yanagi's Polarity Disorder also counts to gaining Fallen Frosts. When Miyabi has at least 2 Fallen Frost points, you can hold her basic attack to enter Shimotsuki's stance and start consuming Fallen Frosts. For every 2 points of Fallen Frost, Miyabi gets 1 level of charge, up to 3 charges. When you release the basic attack button, or when all of her points are depleted, Miyabi will launch an attack depending on her level of charge. She's invulnerable during all of this, so you don't need to worry about it getting interrupted. When Miyabi deals frost damage to an enemy, she applies Ice Fire to the target. When hitting enemies with Ice Fire, Miyabi's Frost anomaly buildup rate on the enemy increases based on 100% of her crit rate, up to 80%. Keep that in mind while building her. When Miyabi triggers an anomaly to an enemy with Ice Fire, it will trigger Frostburn Break, which deals frost damage scaling with Miyabi's attack, and they will enter the Frostburn state. All squad members accumulate 20% more anomaly buildup against enemies under the Frostburn state. Miyabi's first 2 hits deal physical damage, while the last 3 deals frost damage. Her X special attack charges forward, dealing frost damage and granting 2 points of Fallen Frost. If you have enough energy, you can press X special attack again to trigger a follow-up attack, dealing a slightly higher frost damage than the first X special attack, and granting 2 more points of Fallen Frost. Miyabi's ultimate is basically a nuke. It has a really high scaling, and it deals damage in a big AoE. It also gives Miyabi 3 points of Fallen Frost upon activating the ultimate and an ice damage bonus buff. From her passive, if you have at least 2 Fallen Frosts, you can hold basic attack to start charging. Each level of charge consumes 2 Fallen Frosts, for up to 3 charge. Each level of charge also releases different attacks. Level 1, Level 2, and Level 3. The Level 3 has almost 3 times higher scaling than the Level 2. So avoid using Level 1 or Level 2 and instead only use it for the Level 3 charge as much as possible. Also, with her additional ability, after an enemy is hit with a disorder, Miyabi's Charge Slash will partially ignore their ice resistance. Miyabi deals most of her damage through her basic attack, core skill, and ultimate, so prioritize upgrading these 3 first. Her special attack also contributes a decent amount of damage, so upgrade this after the first 3. As for dodge and assist, they are not as important for Miyabi, so upgrade them as you need. In short, this is the optimal skill upgrade priority for Miyabi. Unlike every other anomaly characters, when building Miyabi, you only want to prioritize getting crit rate and attack. Miyabi's Frost Anomaly build-up rate on the enemy with Ice Fire is increased based on 100% of her crit rate, up to 80%. So Anomaly Mastery and Anomaly Proficiency is not as important, though getting some Anomaly Proficiency from substats would still be helpful. Sadly, Miyabi's signature W engine is the only Anomaly W engine that gives crit rate, so you'll have to rely on getting crit rate from your drive disc stats. As the second best option, you can use the Fusion Compiler. This W engine gives pen ratio and attack, which is definitely useful for Miyabi. Weeping Gemini is not a bad option either, since the substat gives attack. Weeping Gemini is also pretty accessible to most players, so it'll be the best free-to-play option. If not, you can use Electro Lip Gloss. While it's not the best, and it's only obtainable from the Battle Pass, the passive will give Miyabi attack and damage increase when there's an enemy with an attribute anomaly. Since Miyabi need crit rate, you can also consider using Deep Sea Visitor or the Attack W engine from the Battle Pass. Though you might not get the passive bonus, the crit rate from their substat is something to consider. As for her drive disc, the new Branch and Blade song will be the best set for her. The 4-piece will give Miyabi a lot of crit rate if you have at least 115 crit damage, and more extra crit rate if a squad member triggers Freeze or Shatter. If not, you can also use the 4-piece Polar Metal on her, but you'll need to get more crit rate on the substats if you're planning to use this. But with any 4-piece you choose, you should pair them up with a 2-piece Woodpecker Electro, as it'll give Miyabi more crit rate. The main stat you should be looking for, Disc 4, 5, and 6, should be crit rate or crit damage, attack or pen ratio, and attack. And the best substats you should look for in order are crit rate, crit damage, attack, then anomaly proficiency. Your goal is to get 115 crit damage if you're using 4-piece Branch and Blade, and a total of 80% crit rate on her first. Then after that, you can look for either getting more crits or attack and anomaly proficiency to get more damage on Miyabi. Miyabi's team options are pretty flexible due to her additional ability requirement, though the best one so far is Miyabi with Yanagi. Then you can fit in Caesar or Rina to boost their damage even more. Yanagi makes playing Miyabi way easier, with her triggering disorders multiple times. Each time Yanagi triggers her disorder, Miyabi gets 2 points of Fallen Frost, while Caesar can give an attack bonus and more survivability with her shield. Swapping Caesar for Rina will lower your survivability, but it'll boost both Miyabi and Yanagi's damage with the pen buff. You can also use Sukaku as your support in this team. Bangbu-wise, you should use the new Bangbu, Agent Gulliver, as he'll help with electric anomaly buildup. Another team you can use is with Lighter. He is a really strong stunner, and he'll buff Miyabi's ice damage significantly. Then you can put Lucy in the 3rd slot as an attack buffer, and activates both Miyabi and Lighter's additional abilities. You can either use Red Mockus or Rocket Boo in this team. You can also pair Miyabi with Bernice. With how fast Bernice build up her anomaly, it'll make it easy to trigger Disorder and get Fallen Frosts for Miyabi. Last slot can be any support character, like Lucy or Sukaku to activate Miyabi's additional ability. You can also use Red Mockus or Rocket Boo in this team. For a low-budget team, you can pair Miyabi with Lycaon and Sukaku. Both Lycaon and Sukaku are pretty easy to obtain. Sukaku can be obtained for free from clearing the 3rd floor of Shiyu Defense for the first time, and Lycaon is a standard banner character, so most of you should have him by now. For this team, Shark Boo will be the best Bang Boo option. If not, you can use Penguin Boo instead. Alternatively, you can use Miyabi with Chingy and Rina. Chingy will still be a really good stunner, even without her additional ability active. You can also swap out Chingy for Anbi. Since it's a double electric team, you should use either Plug Boo or Electro Boo. Miyabi's core rotation is very simple. Apply an anomaly with Miyabi, then trigger Disorder with other squad members to get Fallen Frost points for Miyabi. Then switch to Miyabi and use her X special attack once or twice until you have 6 points. And when you have 6, use her Shimotsuki stance to deal a lot of damage. Also, a little trick you can do. After you charge up with Miyabi, you can switch characters during her 3rd charge slash. This will make your rotation faster. Having Yanagi in your team will also make your rotation way faster and more simple. You can switch to her after Miyabi does her level 3 charged slash, using her Hold EX special attack to trigger Polarity Disorder once or twice. That will give Miyabi 4 Fallen Frosts, which means Miyabi can immediately perform another level 3 charged slash with just 1 EX special attack. But if you have full energy on Yanagi, you can use her Hold X special attack 3 times. Then you can switch to Miyabi with 6 Fallen Frost to use her level 3 charged slash immediately. Miyabi's Mindscape 1 and her signature W engine are both really beneficial for Miyabi. Her M1 makes it easier for Miyabi to apply Frostburn on the enemies, and it allows her level 3 charged slash to ignore 36% of the enemy's defense. While her signature weapon is currently the only anomaly W engine that'll give you crit rate, and since it's her signature, its passive will be perfect for Miyabi no matter what. But if you have to pick one, I highly recommend going for her signature W engine. There isn't a single W engine alternative that will be nearly as good as her signature for the time being. Miyabi is looking to be a really strong DPS. She deals a lot of both direct damage and anomaly damage to enemies. She will definitely power creep most of the older DPS in this game, and as a bonus points, her animations is really cool, and they feel really satisfying so far. But should you pull for her? Well, if you have Yanagi or Lighter, then most likely yes. If not, she can fit in a lot of other teams, but Yanagi and Lighter will help Miyabi's damage tremendously. Keep in mind though, at the end of the day, it's up to you. If you like her a lot, then don't let anyone tell you not to pull.